Welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name is Marisa Maggio, and today is already July 17th of 2025. Super excited to be going into the second half of the year with such amazing people. And I'm really excited for today's team call as we have Riad Mourssali on the call with us today. And before we have Riad introduce himself, just a couple things that are really important to know about Riad prior to kind of being on this call. First and foremost, I've been thankful enough to meet Riad by going to events. He's at events. We're able to network, connect with one another, and really learn from each other. And that's really what this business is about. Riad also has hit Hall of Fame multiple different times, so not just once. When you can do it more than once, it's not a mistake. So without further ado, Riad, welcome to the call. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be on with us because we know that you definitely don't need to be. We appreciate you and it goes right back. But Riyadh, for those folks out there that maybe haven't had the chance to hear from you, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you were doing before insurance, what got you into insurance, and like why Family First Life.
Yeah, so I've been here 4.5 years now. And before this, I was at a travel company doing sales over the phone as well. So I was selling vacation packages, cruise resorts, all that stuff. I was doing really well. I was one of their top producers, but I felt like I was capped on my income and I still worked for a company. So I was building someone else's dream. And I was there for 6.5 years. And I would say the last like 4.5 years in, I was feeling very like unfulfilled and just stagnant, right? Even though I was making money, it's not always about money, right? It's about like how you feel in other areas of your life. And I felt like number one, I wanted to help people a little more than through travel. And also, I didn't see going beyond where I was at financially or ever hitting like financial freedom that we all want to, hit one day. I didn't see that there. So I started looking around for other opportunities. I first dabbled a little bit into e-commerce, Amazon FBA, and I quickly found for my personality and myself, I like to deal with people, and that's more of behind the scenes. You really only deal with like suppliers and whatnot. So I kept looking for something else, and I had a friend that was posting stuff on social media about insurance, and I knew their background. They were a corporate recruiter for 12 years, had no actual sales experience, no insurance experience. And they're posting, yeah, I just sat down with someone for an hour and I made $1,700. So naturally, I reached out to them and I'm like, hey, like, is this real? And they're like, yeah, I made 30 grand last month. And I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you. Like, my best months, and I'm really good at my job, is like 15 grand, right? So sure enough, they showed me the bank statements. I see all these Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, Americo, and I'm like, okay, this is real. And I think like if you can do this, not think, I know I can do this and even better, to be quite honest. I fully believe in myself. So I was like, how do I get started? What do I need to do? What are the steps? And she was like, okay, you need to get licensed first. And guys, I'm a high school dropout. I'll be very transparent with that. I never went to college. School was never for me. My parents were entrepreneurs. I'm a grinder. I like to grind. And when she's like, you had to take a test, I'm like, oh, felt deflated. I'm like, you got to take a test for this, man. So I knew what was capable here. So I literally stopped everything. I didn't go out on the weekends after work, and I was working 60 hours a week. I would study for a few hours. I took longer than what I actually give people now to study and pass the test. It took me like a month and a half, something like that, a month and a half. So I got licensed and it lined up with our annual convention. Okay, so I went to that annual convention. I had just gotten freshly licensed, and it was for those of you that haven't gone, we now have them in one location. It was like in 7 different locations, and we broadcast it on the screen. So we would kind of share people being up on stage in different locations. So I went to that, and everyone was saying the same thing. And guys, I sat in the front row, and it was a 3-day event. I sat in the front row and I filled an entire composition book of notes. And everyone was saying the same thing. They're all Hall of Fame producers, which is 400,000. They said, you got to buy leads every week. You should spend $1,000, $1,000 a week. You got to dial until the job is done. Now we have KPIs where we say, hey, do this many dials. It wasn't that. It was you dial until you hit 15 appointments for your 2 run days. Okay. So it was a dial day on Monday, and then we would dial for Tuesday, Wednesday, 15 appointments. And then it was a dial day on Thursday. You dial to hit 15 appointments on Friday, Saturday. So they said 30 appointments a week, non negotiable, right? And they said that's how you hit your 10K a week, which will end up being after chargebacks 33.3 thousand, which is 400,000 in a year. That's simple. And I was looking at my notebook when I was done with the convention. I'm like, everyone said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's no secret sauce here. It's just buying leads and working your butt off, right? So that was my introduction to this. So I took it extremely serious, and I'll let you talk after this, Marisa. But I had a plan coming into this because I knew I disliked my job, and my plan was how quickly can I replace my income? Okay, so I ended up quitting my job 3 weeks into FFO that I had been with for 6.5 years. My last year, I made 150 grand at my job. So I left something where I was doing well for something I knew I could do better at, right? And I did that because I understood like the business model, like I saw the results. Now it was just up to me to basically duplicate what everyone else was doing.
I love that. So you were doing things over the phone for, you said about 4.5 years in travel. So different than life insurance, definitely
Six and,
fair to say.
six and a half in total. Yeah.
6.5. So over the phone, and then you were getting paid well, right? But you just felt stagnant. You felt stuck. Like my kind of someone put a lid on me.
Yep.
And that's kind of how I always define it. It's like when someone can put a lid on me, I don't want to be there, right? So something internally said to you, hey, like let's look for something that fits me better. You led with, I like to help people. And I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, believe if you don't like to help people, you will be out of this business within 90 days, or you will be miserable within 90 days because you don't like to help people. And that's what we do literally all day long. I love how you said you got into ecom because I think it's important to point out, like, hey, I tried other opportunities and like I'm here, right? That just didn't feel fulfilling. It was more behind the scenes, goes back to kind of the people, right? And the grind and the working and, being involved with different things. And like you said, when we feel unfulfilled and stagnant, we're typically going to act unfulfilled and stagnant, which like isn't a fun place for our brain to be, right? So you came in, your goal was to replace your income. You did that within 3 weeks. And Riad, you said correct me if I'm wrong, your top week in your prior position was about 15,000 a month, right? Because we see
My
these
top,
numbers like, and
yeah.
we're
My
like,
my top month was 15,000. That's what people make a week here. So like
I was gonna say, and if you don't mind us asking, what has your top week been, or your top month been here at Family First Life?
I've done 60. That's my top. Now, here's the
Awesome.
thing though, and I always go back whenever I'm talking to people that want to do this or they are doing it, it comes down to your goals, right? I don't want to sell 100 grand a month, right? If I wanted to, I know the system, it's just leads and work. I want to build a business. So I always listen to what people said in the beginning when I started here. If you want to build a business, all you need to do is 30 to 40 grand a month, hit your Hall of Fame, you're profitable enough to pour back into the business. So to me, that's what I followed, and that's what I've done since day one. The 60K was just me being consistent, and it just happened. It was like a good month, right? Nothing I did really different. I maybe upped my lead spend a little bit.
Right. You showed up, right?
Yep.
And I love that. So I always say, like, and we hear it all the time, Riyadh, right? This business comes back typically to three things, right? Leads, schedule, and mindset, right? And if any of those pillars are kind of failing, we might feel like we're failing, right? Like as
Yep.
individuals or within the business. But guys, if you're ever in that position, first and foremost, ask yourself, how's my mindset? Where are my leads at? And what does my schedule look like? And am I following it? So Riyadh, talk to us a little bit about how you keep yourself structured in each of those departments to make sure that your business is always just flowing. You don't necessarily need to think about it every day. You're not like, what am I going to do today? You just kind of know as a business owner.
Yeah. So first off, I mean, we're all human, right? So we all have emotions, but that is what gets in the way of us being super successful is we tend to feel everything. So my goal is how can I don't want to be like emotionless, but how can I shut off my brain from the stuff that I need to do, right? So number one is schedule. If you have it in your schedule, so for me, I have it in my schedule. It's a non-negotiable. I got to do it. It's in my schedule, right? So I have that done at all times. I'm talking like down to when I wake up, if I'm gonna go to the gym, how much time I'm gonna shower, change. I literally have everything just so I'm following a routine. And you really only need to do that for a few months, and then it just becomes second nature. So I've been doing it for 4.5 years. So now it's just normal for me, but I live by my schedule. So there are other things that you can do to take out the emotion from this business as well. You can automate your leads. That way you don't have to think, oh, it's Monday, I got to go and buy my leads. I know every single day I have money coming out of my bank account for leads. It's automatic. I've done that for the last 3 years. As soon as I found out about it, I started doing it that way because I don't want to think. I just want to say, okay, I'm going to spend 1,500 bucks every week and I don't want to think about it. As soon as I see that charge on my card, it's time to get to work, right? So just not thinking about certain things that you do. And then also, I'm not results driven. I mean, we all are in sales, but I'm not to the point where I'm like constantly thinking about my results. What I'm thinking about is, did I do enough dials? Did I buy enough leads? Did I do enough appointments? Because I know if I do everything the right way when it comes to those things, the results are going to come, right? So I don't think about the day where I went 0 for 12 and now I'm letting it ruin my entire week. Like I'm an emotional wreck and I'm like, oh my God, I can't sell. Now, once again, we are human. There are times where I will go 4 or 5 days without a sale and I'll be like, shoot, do I suck now? Right? You feel that. And then all of a sudden you get a sale and you're like, you have that momentum shift and you're right back where you started. But I would say most of us, because we're human, we let our emotions get in the way of what needs to be done. I just try not to do that. And last year is a perfect example, just to be completely transparent for you guys. I hit Hall of Fame 2 years in a row, and then last year I missed. I didn't start working until like May, June, because my mom was having health issues. So it was a really rough year for me, and I finished at 320. So I know I would have hit it, even so. But it's because I let the emotions get in my way. I was just not wanting to do my appointments. I had appointments scheduled because I had a dialer. I just decided not to show up on many days. So, but we're all human. So understand, like, give yourself some grace. I beat myself up at the end of last year, and I was talking to my mentors that are within Family First Life, and they said, dude, you've hit it twice. You have nothing to prove. Like, there's literally nothing. Like, just give yourself some grace, spend some time with your family. And like that really helped for me because I wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at it like I failed last year. So, but yeah,
And, and thank you for bringing that up, Riad. And I do hope that mom's doing better first and foremost, truly. But at the same time, we are all human. Like we're gonna face different challenges. Like I don't care who you are on this call, like you're gonna face a challenge. And controlling the controllables, like knowing what's going to happen when you wake up. Now, half of us on here might be like, we know exactly what's going to happen. When I wake up, I do A, B, C, D. Okay, awesome. There's another half of us on here, like when I wake up, I might do A, I might do B, maybe I'll get started at 8, maybe I'll take a shower around 7. I'll just see what happens when I wake up. If you were in a W-2 position, you would not see what happens when you wake up. You would have a regimented schedule. So guys, the best thing about this is you get to make the schedule. Like, so make it though, but don't make it like so you're putting yourself in the hole. Um, Routine becomes normal. That was one that stuck with me, right? Start the routine now, do the hard now, so you don't have to do the hard later. If I think about it, Riyadh, like when I came into this industry, I was really young and I'm thankful for that, but also like there's things that I'm like, I missed out on this, right? Guys, there's always going to be things that we miss out on, but at the same time, it's like I knew when I came into this industry based off what I was seeing around me and the results I was seeing around me, hey, if you want to go out with your friends and drink every night, this is probably not going to work out well for you. You're probably actually going to fail at it like tremendously. If you want to sleep until 12 o'clock, you should probably just not be in business for yourself because clearly I need a boss to report to, right? So guys, these are all things that we can control them to a point. So like schedule, boom, controlled. Leads automated, controlled, right? Like you don't have to think about it. And the best thing, like Riyadh said, it's like that 1,500 hits his account. He has his reoccurring lead order on. That might sound scary right now. But guys, if you're writing, you're working 40 hours a week, $1,500 shouldn't be scary. And I'd say that with love, with all love. It shouldn't be scary. It should be like that's not a big deal because that 1,500, what can you turn it into, right? And I love how you said, Riyadh, you're not results driven, right? Did I get my activity in? Did I get my dials in? Did I get my appointments in? Did I talk to the people I wanted to talk to in terms of my agents? Did I put in the work, right? And there's going to be days, guys, that we have to be honest with ourselves and flat out be like, no, I didn't put in the work, but that's okay. I got to recalibrate and get back to it. Now, the quicker we can recalibrate, the better. But sometimes, guys, that is going to take a little bit of time, and that's okay. It's like I always say, Riad, like if you wake up right now at 10 a.m. and you're like, tomorrow I'm going to start waking up at 4. Well, if you do, I'm really happy for you, but that's a far stretch goal if you're waking up at 10, right? You're probably going to sleep at 2, 3, 4. It's going to be really hard to wake up at 4. So say, hey, I'm going to wake up at 9. The next day, the next week, I'm going to wake up at 8. I'm going to wake up at 7, right? Like pull it back a little bit. There doesn't have to be these drastic things. And then mindset wise, guys, just like Riyadh led with, it's like everything's going to become essentially routine and normal outside of the things that we would already be dealing with, so to say, in our personal life. If we can control the controllables in the business, we're going to feel much more in control each day. And it's really normal in your first 30 days to not feel like you're in control. But that's what the structuring, organization, and calls like this are going to help you do. Now, Riyadh, you just hit on some of your non-negotiables, but when you bring a new agent in, what are some of the non-negotiables that you're looking for as a leader who's giving that person, your all?
Yeah, so first thing is having a schedule. Because number one, I know, even for me, um, I was in sales, but I came from W-2, right? So when you go from W-2 to self-employed, it's very, very easy just to kind of, oh, I'm going to do this off the seat of my pants and it'll work out and all this. You don't have a schedule. You're literally like a chicken with your head cut off. And that's how I was for the first couple weeks. And it actually stressed me out with this. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I need to like have a dialed in schedule just so I'm not like worried about what I'm doing every single day and I'm not trying to wing it. I can just focus on getting better at this and learn the skill set. So I want them to send me a schedule, and that's kind of like, and I don't know if I got it from you guys or someone was saying, but like I think it might have been you. The first 2 weeks is really their interview. Like, are you going to follow an actual schedule, right? Are you going to be online when you told me your non-negotiable for this was this time to this time, right? So I would say schedule. Um, Everyone's in a different financial situation when they come on. Fortunately, I had money and I just bought the $1,000 worth of leads that they told me. I provide people with leads, but I do want to know that once they are like they've kind of gotten their scripts down and maybe made a sale, that they are going to buy leads every single week. If you do not, you will be on a hamster wheel here and you will eventually exit the business. Like it's not,
100%.
and even for myself, I've been doing this 4.5 years, and I guarantee Rami and you will say the same. If I lowered my lead spend to $500 a week, I would not hit Hall of Fame ever, no matter how good I am. I could close everyone I talk to, and it still would not be enough to hit Hall of Fame. So those of you that are expecting a massive month out of $500 a week, you got to be realistic. You
Right.
have to. Like Hall of Fame, if you want to do that, you might have different goals, but you're talking minimum 1,500, probably 2,000 a week. So don't
And it's
expect
like,
those numbers if you're not going to spend that kind of money.
no doubt. And it's like, when you're writing Hall of Fame numbers, you're doing 40, 50, 60 a month, like 15 to 2K a week. Guys, it's not that much at that point in time, but you got to see it first. So, Riyadh, I love how you said having a schedule, right? You can also relate to coming from a W-2 position to being self-employed. So I'm sure you can relate to kind of that scatterbrain feeling, so to say, at the beginning and help people with that, which I think is great. Um, and like you said, that the 2 weeks is really your first interview. Do you show up? Do you do what you said you were going to do? Did you just make a schedule and send it to me for fun, or is this like what you're actually going to do, right? And then having realistic expectations for yourself. Like you're going to have to buy leads. We all buy them. Like every person that you see that writes personal production, we all are buying leads, every single one of us. In understanding that when you go from W-2 to self-employed, you are going to feel a little bit out of control for that first, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, I would say maximum. But you should be getting things more under control each day, kind of feeling like finishing the day, feeling like, hey, you know what? Maybe I didn't make a sale today, but I got everything organized and I understand how to use this automated system as a silly example, guys. It's the small things that change everything in this business. And just like Riad said, I can definitely say if I spent 500 a week, there's no way I'm doing Hall of Fame numbers. It just wouldn't make sense. Even if I'm 10xing my ROI, it's still not going to hit there. So, guys, be conscious of what you are investing in leads and getting started. Cool, 500, awesome. But as you make those sales, just like Riyadh said, the expectation is after your first sale, now we're playing with the house's money. We expect you to reinvest that back into leads each and every week, going back to having an automated and regimented lead schedule. So I love that. Now, coming in, Riyadh, you kind of hit on this a little bit. But were you nervous to buy leads? It doesn't sound like you were because you had that money and you believed in yourself. But were you nervous to buy leads?
So I don't even know if it has to do with that because you can still believe in yourself and be nervous. But
That's good.
I used to play poker for a living. I did it for 10 years of my life. So it was literally like buying into a cash game, right? Because I literally I sit at the table. I had to give them money to get chips. And now when I leave the table usually with the skill set, once I learned it, with more money than I bought in for. So it's literally the same thing. So was I scared? No. And I think it was because of that. I had 10 years of buying leads, which were chips, right? So I was used to that. So no, I mean, I hate because I know most people are. So I kind of like step back a little bit and try to understand how people are feeling, especially what their bank account might look like. Oh, $500 for most people is a lot to spend on. In my mind, I was like, it's just like buying in at a poker game. I'm just going to turn around and make more out of it. So no, I wasn't, to be honest. It was just
No, and
something
I like that answer.
I'd already had ingrained in me. That's all.
That's awesome. So you had it ingrained in you, like you were already used to kind of that transaction, so to say,
Yep.
right? Like, you're going to give money and you're going to get something back, so to say, from it.
Yep.
Now, did you trust the process?
I did a hunt. So, and here's the thing is I took this extremely serious, okay? Because I wanted to quit my job because I knew what was possible here. And I was unhappy, guys. I'm talking like 2 years of doing a job where I just didn't enjoy it anymore. And I was really feeling the effects of it outside of work. I just didn't enjoy it. So I took this very serious when I came in and I had a plan. And my plan was how can I replace my income as quick as possible and go all in on this and turn this into something really big, not just a job, not just a career, but an actual business, build this into something big. So
I love that. And that kind of goes into the next kind of question that I have for you. But guys, I want to point out when you come into this position, it's not like you walk into Dunkin' Donuts. And like I said, like I love Dunkin' Donuts. Like don't get it twisted, okay? But like there's a skill set that has to be learned. Now, there is a skill set at Dunkin' Donuts that has to be learned as well, but they're going to fire you if you don't learn the skill set. Like if you don't know how to make the coffee, whatever it might be, they're going to fire you. Like period. Like they're like it's not going to work out, Riyadh. Like you can't make a coffee to save your life. Respectfully, we need to fire you. Now, guys, here we're in business for ourselves. We're self-employed at the end of the day. So there's not necessarily somebody that's going to be there to fire you from at the beginning. However, if you can take this so serious the first 90 days, like Riyadh saying, like, I took it so serious, I had a plan, and basically the way I was feeling was like my livelihood and my well-being depended on it because I'd been unhappy for so long. And I can relate to that in prior positions. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to it too. But it's like if you're not taking this serious from day one, it's a lot harder to take it serious on day 281. And I'm just being honest. Now, can you get it done on day 281? You start taking it serious? Sure. But at that point, your mentor probably thinks you're checked out. So unless you have a really serious conversation of why that's going to change, it's just hard. So do it from the beginning. Pick, it goes back to pick your hard. It can be hard now or it can be hard later. I would rather it be hard now.
And
So
I
I
can
love
dive
that.
into my beginning because this is huge. Because
Yeah.
I look back because I think you were here when I started because I believe I actually messaged you in the beginning to get some information. And when we started, we were in the home, right? But when we started, everyone was like, oh, you guys have it so easy now. But now I'm thinking you guys have it so easy now with all the systems, being able to do this from your house and everything. So this is what my basically first few months looked like. I wanted to quit my job really bad. I started doing this part time. I think it was for like a week. I cannot do anything part time. That's not my mentality. So I went to my job and I said, hey, I'm putting in 2 weeks of PTO because I never took a vacation there. So I did 2 weeks and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all in on this. Can I replace my income in the 2 weeks? I worked 13 hours a day those first 2 weeks. I did 15,000 issue paid in those 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I think this is it. But wait, I have a mortgage, I have a car payment, I have all these bills. Let me make sure before I quit my job. I put in another week, my last week, because I was going to have to use it anyways. I went hard again and managed to do well. And I was like, okay, this is real, right? I'm going to quit my job. I put in my 2 weeks. They only had me work like 4 extra days. And I went literally all in. I put my back against the wall because now I have no income coming in. So a lot of people, when they start here, I'm like, you quit your job and then like you're logging out at 5 p.m. I'm like, what the hell? Like you quit your job. You don't have any income. You didn't get a sale today. Why are you logging out? So I would literally work from 8:30 was the sweet spot to call when we were going in the home because that's 30 minutes before telemarketers start. So they were answering the phones and I would work until I had 15 appointments. And guys, sometimes that was not until like literally, and I know it's bad because the TCPA laws, but I would dial until like 9:30 and I'd have people yelling at me on the phone because I wanted to hit my 15 appointments, right?
Yep.
So that is what my first few months looked for. And guys, you think you have it hard right now? Marisa, I think Rami was even in the home. I used to drive 700 miles weekly. I would sit in my car. I'd be stopping at gas stations to go to the bathroom. When my appointment would no show me, I would either door knock or I'd be in my car at like a parking lot of a grocery store dialing off of my phone and my little iPad. And I was doing anything and everything to make this work. Okay. So now when I bring someone on, and it's crazy to me, they're like, I'm all in. I want to do this. And I'm like looking at, okay, it's 5 p.m. my time. They're Pacific and they just clocked out. And I've been here 4.5 years. I have money in the bank and I'm still on until 7, 8 p.m. Like
Where are you at?
yeah, if you want this, that's what you have to do. Now it's not forever, right? I grinded those 12, 13 hours every single day and I'm in Arizona too, so it's hot in the summer. I'm driving in 115-degree weather, stuck in my car all day, miserable, eating a sandwich while I'm driving, like packing my meals because I was getting fast food and gaining weight, like literally just not fun, right? And we weren't doing telesales at the time. So there was no option. And I came from telesales. So I was comfortable being at home, right? So I welcomed being, going out and actually meeting the people. And I'm glad I do that because you really get to see the clientele that you're helping. And you realize even more when you see them how badly they need this insurance, right?
So true.
So I did that. And that is how, and a lot of people say, oh, it took me like 3 months to get well. My second month here, I did 40 grand. My third month, I did 45. It's not because I was good. Guys, it's because I was doing so much activity, it was going to happen, right? So that's
No
all
one
it
could beat
did.
you.
I'm not
Like,
special. I literally just outworked my lack of skill. That's it. And when I was driving to these appointments, I wasn't listening to music. I would watch 4, 5, 6 YouTube videos a day. Like Easton Padden was one of the big ones. I learned a lot from that guy. I would watch his videos over and over and over on what to say in the home, how to close, people with Social Security, what to say. I would reach out to him. The guy had no clue who I was. I was blowing his Instagram up. Now we're good friends, but Like I did anything and everything to be able to like figure this thing out right away. So
Absolutely. And there's a lot to take from that. Now, again, guys, we're not like, oh my God, we were in the home. You should feel bad for us. But what we're saying more so is we were in the home and it was a lot more difficult because, Riyadh's out in Arizona, which is like the hottest place I've ever been my whole life, by the way, per my last visit. Um, it's 120 degrees out there. He's in his car doing his thing, making his dials. Like, guys, we're literally sitting somewhere in air conditioning or heat, depending on where you live. Like, I was in Massachusetts in my car because I can't drive a truck because I would flip the thing over because I drive too fast. And I'm trying to get out of like snowbanks. I'm like, oh, it's snowing out. This is the best day because everybody's going to be home. Like, so I can't wait to go out in this snowstorm to go help people because no one's going to no-show me because they all are off work because there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. This is going to be the best day ever. And guys, that's literally how my brain worked. And just like Riyadh said, in between appointments, I was knocking on people's doors. So I had the lead. I was like, hey, Riyadh, I'm Marisa. You had sent this request in. I've been unable to get a hold of you. How you doing? Check his hand. Like basically, you remember sending this in. Guys, we did theoretically the craziest things that we would think like, oh my God, I would never do that now. It's like, well, what would you do? And what won't you do? Because that's what it's going to come back to. What I did was between every single appointment I had, I door knocked 5 people, even if I was going to be late, because it allowed me to hit 5 more people in between my appointments. And I didn't know if the next person was going to be there. Guys, it's the same thing. We're looking for reps and activity, right? So if I got a no-show at that point, I'm door knocking, or just like Riyadh said, I could literally visualize myself when he said it. Like you're in like the Stop and Shop parking lot and you're just dialing the phone, like just trying to get more appointments, trying to get more appointments. And you're on the phone from 8 a.m. until 9:30. Riyadh loved that when you're like, it's until 15 appointments. Like sometimes I was dialing till 9:30. Yeah, I was too, guys. We all were. And when we were in the home, guys, that's what it looked like. The schedule was 8 to 9 on dial days, and it was typically 8 to 11, 11:30 p.m., 1 a.m., depending on how far out your county was. So
mhm.
it's like, seriously think about that when you get upset because Jack won't give you his banking information. Like, think about like we drove to people's houses 2.5 hours away and they weren't home. You could be like, well, that's your fault. No, 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 no. It is my fault. But that's what we did, guys. That was our job. So it's like, whatever the job is, we got to get it done. And it goes back to Riyadh's point, I think, really being like, okay, like, first of all, anybody can outwork any lack of skill, no matter whether it's virtual or it was in the home. Like, we all did it. And if you're not listening to things that are going to make you better in the business, you're not going to get better in the business, period, end of story. When I was in my car, guys, just like Riyadh said, he listened to like 4, 5, 6 YouTube. That's not Riyadh bragging on himself. That was the system. The system was you jump back in your car, you put YouTube back on, you get back to, you know, Riad in the home. Like that's what it was, guys. Like that's what we did. And what I always focused on and what I tell all of y'all to focus on is find 3 videos. They could be 5 minutes long, they could be 5 hours long. I don't care. That resonate with you, that are going to help you get back on track when you're off track. Or when you're getting so many objections and rebuttals that you feel like, oh my God, when is like something got to give? It's like it's all repetition and skill. And guys, we're literally working from our houses. And I say that with like love and respect on a Zoom virtual office. If you're in an office, awesome, love you. But at the same time, guys, you're still sitting in an office. Like, so am I. It's like, so we all have the same opportunity here, is just really where I'm going with that.
You know what's
So yeah, thank you for diving in on
you
that.
know what's the craziest thing that I think about every time we have an event come up, like
What?
an Ignite or convention, is I'm always like, new agents or even old age, a lot of them don't go. And I'm like,
Yep.
seriously, you don't want to buy a ticket and go, you're worried about like the plane ticket cost? Guys, there were not enough leads in most of our counties. What we would have to do is called a travel trip. We would have to buy leads in a different county outside of our state. We would have to buy a plane ticket, rent a hotel, rent a car. We'd have to do all that to fly to a state that we don't know to sit down with people in person. So I used to do travel trips to Seattle, Washington, 2.5 hour flight because there were way too many agents here in Arizona. So there were no leads. I didn't have a choice, right? So, and it's crazy to me because like people won't go to convention, which is literally going to make you thousands of dollars. But we, in order to make this work, we had to do travel trips, a lot of us, right? Which is just, I was just wanted to throw that out there for those of you that are new and you're just doing this all virtual. It was a different game 4 years ago.
It was. And Riyadh, to your point, real quick funny story, guys. Like I did travel trips all the time. I would go to Maryland, I would go to Delaware, or kind of hit both up in Mass because when leads ran out, like that was it. Like they weren't there, like you better find a solution. My solution was just like Riyadh's, okay, we're gonna either drive down or fly down. So like
Crazy.
I end up in Maryland in the middle of Baltimore, I guess in like the bad area because I didn't know where to stay, you know what I mean? And like Jamie Euphemia is like, we need to get you out of there. You can come stay at our house. And I was like, no, 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 it's fine. Like I'll figure it out. But to his point, guys, like I didn't know where I was going. You guys are like, well, that was really stupid. You should have asked somebody. Yeah, I probably should have. But you know what? That's just how our brains work. We were like, just do it. Like we're just gonna go do the travel trip. We're not gonna complain about it. We're not gonna be like, oh, what area in Baltimore? Never knew Baltimore was that big. But guys, point being, now you get to buy a non-resident license and you get to go to Maryland without going. Like you get to go to Washington without going.
And
And
another
that's a
thing that's
beautiful thing.
crazy, I was talking to Des about this the other day. Guys, when we used to go in the home, we didn't have a script.
Right.
Literally sit back behind a phone and read off a script. I would have to sit down with someone and I'm like, all right, what do I do? I don't know. All I would have is an inventory sheet and my underwriting guides. That was it. I had to talk and I didn't have a script to follow. It would have looked weird if I was literally like this in front of my client, like reading off a script, right? Like that's literally how it was. So everyone's so worried, oh, do I have the best script? We didn't even have a script. It was go in there, give them your license, set the table, get all their inventory stuff, health and finance, and then show them three options. Build a why, paint a picture. That's it. And you'd have to do that off the cuff. You didn't have a script. Now we
Right.
have detailed scripts that we can follow, and people won't even follow the script.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Like it was written that way for a reason. To Riyadh's point, guys, in my first few homes, like actually my first like 100 homes, I used to walk in, I'd be all nervous, I'd open my laptop so that I made sure I hit on every point, and I'd be like looking back at it, and like the person at like his house, like Riyadh would be like, what is she doing? Like, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm not closing. Well, because you're staring at your laptop while you're talking to the person. You look like you look weird. Like, you know what I mean? Guys, now no one knows what you're doing. That's the best thing. That's the best part about it. Now, Riyadh, obviously you're great on the phones, or you wouldn't be doing the numbers that you're doing and the numbers that you've done. Would you mind role playing a little bit like on an intro in terms of like a couple objections that you get on like the front end and how you might overcome them?
yeah. Now I'll be honest, guys. Like my first year and a half, I did thousands of dials. And then because I wanted to build this into a business, I decided to delegate that. So I haven't really dialed much. So I'm a little rusty. I think it's
That's
like
fair.
riding a bike. So I'll get it, but just bear with me a little bit.
You
So,
got it, Riyadh. So we ain't using the dialers against you, no doubt. Okay.
so
All
are
right.
you
So
mainly doing like vets?
yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to do like a vet intro? Are you cool with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have it right here. We just started
Awesome.
training on it. So, all right, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Marisa.
Yeah.
Hey, Marisa, this is Riad. I'm a veteran underwriter. Just quickly getting back to you about that request you made online for the life insurance options for veterans. You remember that, right?
Yeah, I actually already got it taken care of though.
Okay, perfect. Totally understand you got it taken care of. Your account came across with an audit. Did you happen to get your policy in the mail and did someone do a review with you yet?
I got it in the mail, but no one did a review.
Okay, so that must be why they have me calling you. I see your date of birth is listed as 12/11/65. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then that's it. I go right back
Awesome.
into the script.
And guys, that's the key. Go right back to the script, right? Like he didn't pause and like well, this it's like just whatever you're gonna say it with confidence, and it's typically gonna work, at least get you to the next step. All right, Riyadh, hit me like let's do one more.
All right, ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, Marisa.
Yep.
Hey, Marisa. This is Riad. I'm a veteran underwriter. Just quickly getting back to you about the request you had made online for the life insurance options for veterans. You remember that, right?
Yeah, I'm really busy. I'm just not interested anymore. I'm not interested.
Perfect, not a problem. Most people that are not interested is because they think they can't qualify or they think it'll cost too much. Which one were you?
I think it will just cost a lot.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. So I do work with every company out there, and they do have a lot of different discounts for veterans. We're able to find something for all veterans, knowing that you're on a fixed income. Looks like you put down you're in the Army or you were in the Army.
Yep.
Okay, and then I just go right back into the script.
Guys, fire. Like that's it. And we can make it like we can make it a 10 or we can keep it like Riad and make it a 0 and just be like, like that that's exactly why I'm calling. Your
You
account
guys
can
want a golden nugget that I just found out? I constantly am getting better. Okay, so you guys know Chat GPT, right?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
You can literally
Chatty.
You can literally type into your chat GPT, hey, I'm going to role play my life insurance sales script with you. Can you please give me an objection out of I'm not interested, I already got it taken care of, and I don't remember filling anything out? And then it will talk to you and say, okay, perfect. And then you literally will do the voice option and you'll go into your script and it'll give you an objection. I did this the other day with it. It had me do objections 7 times before it booked an appointment with me.
Wow. It,
So
it,
that
it like just talks back with
it
you.
just talks back to you. Yeah. It's like a chill
Okay.
voice. It's like Australian. You can probably change the voice, but literally
Right.
one of the best ways to practice because it is giving you real life. And then you can ask it at the end, hey, can you grade me based off of how I did? And the gradings were actually very accurate of what I would train a new agent on.
I love
So
that.
just a little tech for you guys because a lot of us we don't want to bug our friends and family or we're scared to or whatever. So you guys can just role play with AI.
I love that. Thank you for that tip. That's huge. Because Riyadh,
Absolutely.
I know when I got started, like my sister wanted to kill me by like the 100th time I went over my script. She's like, yeah, like I was like, I think she stopped listening. You know what I mean? So ChatGPT has to listen. So it's like, there we go. And it's going to work with you.
And it won't take it easy on you, which a client's not going to. When you're role playing with someone it's not, I mean, it's cool to role play, but it's not realistic, to be honest.
100%. And like Chat GPT, like we would be honestly, I've been shocked by what this thing knows. So like if you haven't played around with it, play around with it. Didn't know it did that. That's really cool. And guys, to be honest, like that's probably like right now, that's the biggest tangible nugget. I think like we can all go take right now after this call and like do like tonight after income producing hours. Because that's going to help you get better. If it grades you at the end, and let's just say it gives you a C. Okay, how can you get a C plus or a B or whatever, however it grades you? How can you get the next best grade, right? You just want to be doing a little bit better every day. And if you do that every day, like there's no way you're not going to be able to overcome objections and rebuttals. So that's awesome, Riyadh. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Um, and then I have two last questions for you, and then I'll wrap it because I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate you. When you are talking to somebody that you want to potentially bring onto your team, I think we've all kind of learned over the last couple of years that this isn't necessarily the best fit for everybody, and based off of our personalities, we're going to work different with different people. With that being said, what are some of the biggest things that you're looking for, or maybe a question that you always ask somebody when you are looking to maybe bring them onto your team?
Yeah, so I try and look for similar personality to myself. I have a different and it's so awesome to have like people that you partner with in this business that will be transparent with you and they're willing to give you criticism. And me and Des have partnered up for the last few months and she will give me criticism on things that I already know that I lack in, but I need like I might not see it at the time. So I'm a very like straightforward, blunt person, right? I'm just like, yo, you need to get to work. Like, what are you doing? You logged in at like 8:32 today? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm too blunt, right? And that is a downfall because not ever like whenever I get criticism, I need you to not sugarcoat it. If you sugarcoat it, it doesn't help me. If you white glove me, it does not help me. I need you to say, hey, you suck. This is where you went wrong, and this is where you can improve. Okay. And the problem is people get offended. They don't take lightly to that. So I try to find people that can take that, want me to be transparent because ultimately, even though I am too blunt, even on the brand new agent that gets offended to it, I just want them to win more than anything. I'm not saying it that way because I'm being an a-hole. I just genuinely want people to win, right? So that's something that I am purposely trying to work on, be more of a chameleon in the business and learn how to deal with people. But I tend to try and find people that are similar mindset to me and kind of were where I was at. Like maybe they're doing well right now, or they have, a job and they're not doing well financially, but they're unhappy and they're like, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Right. So like when I ask the question, hey, how many hours can you work a week? And they're like thinking about it, that's not the answer I want. I want them to say whatever it takes to do this. That's the kind of person I'm looking at. Like yesterday, I was doing a recruiting call and the guy's like, yeah, I want to work full time. And I'm like, okay, what's full time to you? And he was like, yeah, I want to do like 20 to 30 hours a week. And I'm like, that's not part time, number one. Even 40, in my opinion, is not full time. So, like, you're barely going to work. You're not a good fit for this business, to be quite honest. This is for people who want to get way ahead and they're willing to do whatever it takes. So that is what I look for. And I said it to him just straight like that. I'm like, dude, you're not a good fit for this. I'm sorry. And I ended the call there.
And that's okay, right? Because like we don't want everybody to necessarily be a good fit, right, for our group, because then we're hiring everybody and then it's like, oh God, what did I do?
Now,
And
here's what I'll tell you though, and this is going to be after you hire them. I don't care if you suck at this. I don't care if you're not getting results. If you're doing everything that I'm coaching you on and that needs to be done and you're following the system, eventually it's going to click. It has for many people here. If you guys go back and listen to Easton Padden's story, for 3 months he was maxing out his credit cards. He didn't sell anything. He wasn't even telling his fiance that he was maxing them out. He called Andrew Taylor for help, I think it was, or Zach, and they're like, what do you like with your clients? Are you like asking them about how it's going to affect their family or anything? Are you building any sort of a why? And he's like, no, I'm just providing them options and having them. And they're like, dude, stop being so selfish. You need to care about your client, and hung up on it. And then he figured it out. And now that guy has done seven, eight, 900,000 multiple years in a row. He's like the only producer to do a million team and personal volume. So you just like, it doesn't matter if you suck. If you're doing
right.
everything right, you can get better. This is a learned skill. Like Sean says, you don't have to be special to do this.
Exactly. And that's huge because it's like I just right like you said, I need someone who's willing to put the work in. I need someone who's willing to take the coaching.
Yep.
And I hear you, Riyadh. Sometimes my coaching can be almost like too soft or it can be too straightforward. I try to find that happy medium and it can be difficult. But guys, whenever we're criticizing, like we're doing it from a place of love. And like every time I've been criticized in this business, like about, hey, that call you just made, like, why didn't you say ABC? Why didn't you do this? It's helped me. I've never taken offense to it. I've never been like, well, why are you giving like I don't care if I've been here for 20 years. Like I want the feedback. Like I'm like Riad, I want the feedback. I'm not gonna like I'm gonna be offended if you're soft to me. If you're like, is there anything that you think you could have done a little bit better in that call? No, just shoot me straight. Tell me, hey, when you called that person, you didn't say, you asked, hi, is this Riad? You didn't just say, Riad, this is Marisa getting back. Like, shoot me straight, right? And I think when we can find those people who they want to be better, just to Riyadh's point, the similarity of wanting to be better, willing to be coached. Guys, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be better, but I was willing to be coached. And when you come into any business, that's what you should walk into. Like that's the person that you need to walk. That's who you need to be to walk in here. Now you might be able to come in, write a couple policies, maybe issue, 5, 10 grand a month. And if you're ecstatic about that, I'm ecstatic for you. But for most of y'all on this call, I know a lot of your goals and I know that that's not it. So if that's not it, you need to take a step back and realize like, hey, to Riyadh's point, I might suck right now, but if I know I'm taking the coaching, I'm following the system, I have a schedule, I'm structured, I have my leads, and I have my mindset is like, hey, I'm going to suck at this thing for a little bit, but then I'm going to get great really fast as long as I stay plugged in. Like that's the person I want to work with, right? I want to work with that person, not the person who's going to be like, full time is 20 to 30 hours a week. No, that's not full time. That's definitely part time. It always has been.
And here's the thing, and I'll say this for your guys' group. You guys have like two Hall of Fame producers on your team. why would you do anything other than what they say, right? So when I started, guys, my upline was only 2 months in. They didn't know what they were doing. I got no help from them, to be honest. But what I did was I reached up to other people that had what I want at all, and I still do that to this day. Like I walked up to Sean at Ignite and I said, and Sean knows me well because I've spent a lot of time with him over the years, but I walked up to him and I said, Sean, I've been here 4.5 years. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Shoot me straight because I'm not growing the way that I feel like I should be. So what can I do? And he's like, you don't want to hear like what I have to say. And I'm like, no, I need you to tell me. I don't care what it is. Tell me. And he broke it down for me, and I accept that, and I'm fully aware of like where I lack and that I need to get better. I hate being stagnant. I always want to get better. So those of you that are on this call, if you are not asking a crap ton of questions and you're not reaching out, not only that, with respect to Rami and Marisa, if you guys are only learning from them, and I tell my team this, if you're only learning from me, it's a huge mistake. I need you to go out and reach out to other people that have what you want. Don't go and talk to someone that's barely making money. Please talk to the people. If you want to make 50 grand, talk to someone that's making 50 grand. Okay. But you guys need to ask questions. You need to reach out to people. When you go to these events, and you should go to every single event, you need to walk up to people like Marisa and Rami. I've known of them for a while. I've messaged them, but I walked up to them at the last Sean's event in Florida and I introduced myself. That way I could build a relationship with them. And then I was fortunate enough to share the stage with Rami, multiple time Hall of Fame producer. You guys have access to them every single day. Utilize, utilize, utilize with respect. If they tell you something, don't go back and ask them that same question 20 times. You're just not listening at that point. But you should be picking their brain on every part of this business until you get what you want, right? And then you pay that forward to your group. Right?
Absolutely. And that's what it's really all about. And I appreciate you, the kind words, genuinely, but that's what it's about. Reaching up and reaching out to others. If I never got feedback a day in my life, I wouldn't be where I am in the business now, and I wouldn't be growing in the business at all. So, like, you're never too good for feedback, whether you started today or you started 10 years ago. And then getting to events, guys, get yourself to the next event. I always say, Riad, to kind of how you came in too, you went right to convention. That was the year COVID. So they did like 7 different events. It was crazy. But you got there and you saw everybody on stage just saying pretty much the same thing of how to make it work. And you're like, well, why not me? We
Mhm.
say that a lot, guys, but you get to an event and then you find yourself sitting there saying, why not me? And like that's the most beautiful thing about the event. And you go home with applicable things that, to Riyad's point, aren't just from, me, Heather, Rami, Christina, they're from other people in this business who are doing well, not just from the people you hear from each and every day. And that's huge. Not because we don't want to provide you value, but because there's always more value within other people in different ways. And there's 80 million ways to skin a cat, and there always will be. So reach out, reach up. And again, to Riyad's point, to people who are doing better than you and are where you want to be, not to the complaint department. That means like the people who are just going to like complain about how the leads didn't answer this morning. And like, I don't know. I haven't been a part of the complaint department for a long time now, never going back. So guys, reach out to other people. That's really how you're going to grow. Allow people to shoot you straight as much as you are welcoming it in your heart, and then just realize the things that you have to change or do differently. It's not always do better, it's sometimes just do differently. So thank you so much for that, Riyad. And it was a pleasure, seriously, like officially meeting you because, like you said, I've like known who you are for 4.5 years, and then like, like here we are a few months back, like, hey, right? So beautiful thing. In wrapping up this call, I always like to ask, Riyad, what are your goals wrapping up 2025, whether that's, business, personal, or both?
Yeah. So I struggle with this. The personals, I always want to hit Hall of Fame. It just feels so good to get on that stage with the red jacket. And that's not to gloat, guys, but it is that personal achievement that you guys all have to hit. And it's just a jacket. It's not like a big deal, but it's kind of like that standard, right? Once you meet that standard, you kind of have that on your resume and it's not going anywhere. And if you guys do want to build a business, like you will have that credibility. You are literally top 1% in all of the life insurance industry if you meet that goal, right? So for me, it's hitting that. I don't need to do crazy eight, seven, $800 million, but focusing on my business. And this is where, and I feel like I've restarted, guys. I feel like I'm on day one, okay? Because I was recruiting before. I was pouring into people, but not like I am now. And I feel like I'm on day one where I don't know anything. My attention is being pulled in 30 different directions. Like and even before this, I've been uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable every single day. If you guys get to a point where you're comfortable, you're doing something wrong. And that's like right before bad stuff happens. So you should always feel uncomfortable, seriously. So for me, it's really like pouring into my team and bringing more people on and just getting them to where I am, because the sales for me, I don't get excited about it anymore. It's just normal. But when I have a new agent sell and I know their financial situation, I'm freaking pumped. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that to say it. Like I legitimately get pumped for it. So all team is pretty much where my energy is at. And unfortunately, and I'm saying I'm started over because I've let my personal number slip because I'm giving my attention when I need to figure out how to meet my goal and do that, right? Which talking to you guys has helped me out a lot with the system that you guys are doing where you're on helping agents in the morning and then you're just doing your personal sales later on. So I'm doing it that way. And then I just, I'm not, and I've done my research on other companies and even other like business models, not in the life insurance. We are in the best position possible that you could ever be in if you work, if you follow the system. I don't know anywhere. And I was playing poker for a living where I could make 10 grand in a night. My best like day here is like 15, something like that. And my best week here is like almost 30, right? And I'm not talking like fully underwritten. I'm talking like approved 30 in a week. Like you can't do that anywhere. And I'm a high school dropout and I don't have a college degree, right? So my goal is to get to people to where I'm at, pouring into them. And then just, ultimately, and this is an important thing, I'll show this to you guys. I have this on my desk at all times because if you guys are just doing this for money, you're going to fizzle out. You'll quit within a few months. Why are you doing this? Okay.
Love
I
that.
have my why on my desk at all time. First one is retire my parents. I want to take care of my parents. They brought me into this world. They worked their butts off. They've been through all the bad stuff in life. My mom's health now. So that's number one. Number two is I want to provide the best life for my future family, right? Might not have it now, but it's going to come. Number three is I want time freedom. I don't want to sit here and trade my time for money for the rest of my life. I want to be able to go with my family on a vacation and I'm making that money while I'm on vacation, right? And then the last thing, and this is important as well, Sean talks about this all the time, is giving back. I've donated more over the last 4.5 years than I ever have to people that are in need. And guys, I've never worked harder, but I've also never been in the better position I am now. And it's selfish of us to not give back. So I have donated a lot to Dream Center and certain things like that. And I feel like it comes back tenfold. I'm not just thinking about my own pocket.
I love that. And Riad, I love how you were just sort of so focused outside of yourself, so to say. And I think that that's huge. And when I say that, I mean you're finding ways within yourself to better navigate your team and how you're dealing with people and how you're dealing with your schedule, kind of changing that from personal to, team. And I love that. There's not a doubt in my mind that you're going to stay uncomfortable every day because that just seems like that's who you are. You're going to continue to grow and you're going to have an army of agents following you. I know for sure if I was coming in day one, I would follow you, Riyadh. I would follow Des. You guys are doing amazing things. You guys are making strides for your group, and not everyone's going to do that. So I applaud you for that. I love how you have that why in front of you. Just like Riyadh said, if you're doing this strictly for money, it's never going to work for you. It's just not. Like, sorry to be the one to tell you. I love the idea of that flashcard on your desk because when you're having a bad moment, you can probably just take a look at that thing and you're like, okay, recentered, refocused, right? And then the giving back piece, I can relate to that too. Like I've never gave more back than when I got started with Family First Life. Yes, that comes back to my income is higher than it was prior, but it also just comes back to like I want to give back. Like it's something I want to do. It fills my cup. So it's almost like giving back is helping whoever it is I'm giving back to, but it's also helping me feel like I did something positive within myself too in a selfish way. So I love that, Riyadh, in terms of focusing on your business, really resetting yourself, acting like it's day one, and being open to that coaching to better yourself and your entire group. So I'm really excited to see you at the next event. I appreciate you and Des immensely and you taking the time to be on with us today. So thank you so much, Riyadh.